Another important practice in the world of security, especially information security, is network traffic analysis. And network traffic analysis is not necessarily any one activity, but it's rather a set of activities that are centered around inspecting the packets that come in and out of a network along all the available external connections, whether it's TCP, UDP, or any other protocol that might be available, those being the big ones, of course, nowadays. And what this really entails is looking at whether there's traffic that is all authorized or whether there's potentially some rogue unauthorized traffic happening on the network. And it could be that it's coming from outside, going outside. Maybe suppose there's some malware that is sending information out. But sometimes it's actually communication within the network itself. So suppose there's a bad actor communicating with another bad actor inside of a network and performing unauthorized actions, sending packets containing sensitive material or sending packets that are part of an attack. And that's what needs to be analyzed, and that's what needs to be prevented by security specialists. And another reason why traffic analysis happens is so that we can create audit trails. And what that means is we capture the details of when a connection was made from one address to another, what the protocol was, what the fingerprint or full content of the traffic that was sent was, like what the message was that was contained inside the packets that made their way from one address to the other. And when we capture these details, whether it's the full data or whether it's the metadata about the connections in the network traffic, we can then later reconstruct a picture of what was happening on the network at any particular time, whether that's for compliance purposes, whether that's for reporting purposes, or suppose there was an incident and we have to create an incident response and we have to investigate what happened after the fact, and an audit trail from network traffic analysis helps us with that. And here are some of the tools that we use for network traffic analysis. So Nmap is something we talk about in a different part of the course. It's short for a network mapper. There's also something called PCAP, and that's something that we use to capture packets. So that's literally we're writing down the packets that are going from one source to another on the network, whether it's all the packets or filtered by specific items like suppose the port number. And then we have netstat, which can show us the network statistics. And that's a very simple tool, but it's a very effective, quick little tool to show you the picture of what's going on a Unix, Linux type system at any one time in terms of what's listening, what ports are connected, what ports are blocked. And then there's, of course, Wireshark, which is a really popular tool. And Wireshark is a very powerful tool. It's usually not active on the system at any one time. It's usually something that specialists will turn on when there's a reason to suspect something's not right with the network traffic. And then it can actually take in and analyze all traffic that's going through a particular network gateway or on a particular machine and provide a pretty comprehensive report of what's happening. And the thing is, this is a preventative activity, but it can also be an attack. The traffic analysis itself, if it's unauthorized, if it's coming from a source other than the people who own and operate the network, it could be done as part of either a reconnaissance, which was part of preparing for an attack, when an attacker is figuring out how to attack and where to attack a network or the computers on a network. Or it could be part of a denial of service attack, where just flooding the network with requests for information about the network or sending in rogue packets as part of a network analysis tool abuse is actually shutting down the network or just overwhelming the resources on it. And that's something we talk about in the course as well, the DDoS or distributed denial of service. So that's something that can happen too. So it's important to know whether traffic analysis that's happening on the network is authorized or not. And we're going to take a look at some code examples.